Your best customer can be the reason your business looks healthy and the reason a buyer quietly marks down its value. Imagine a Tuesday morning email. Your biggest client is reviewing its suppliers. No complaint, no crisis, just a polite request for information and a timetable for the process. 6 months later, the revenue is gone, but the people, equipment, overheads, and working capital are still there. Would your business have a difficult year, or would it have a different identity? That is the customer concentration blind spot. And the point today is not that large customers are bad. Far from it. A key account is an asset until it starts making your decisions for you. Customer concentration is not primarily a sales problem. It is a visibility problem, a negotiating power problem, and ultimately a leadership problem. Businesses don't stop growing by accident. They stop growing because leaders miss what's really holding them back. Welcome to Why Businesses Stop Growing, the podcast for business owners, CEOs, and investors who want to build stronger, more profitable, and more valuable businesses. I'm Chris Wimshurst, Commercial Growth Advisor and founder of Hawthorne Advisory. Each week I'll diagnose the commercial challenges holding businesses back, share practical insights from over 25 years of leadership and commercial experience, and give clear recommendations to help you grow with confidence and build lasting business value. So by the end of this episode, you'll be able to answer 3 questions. Why does a healthy looking business become dependent on one customer? What should you do when the exposure is real? And why does it matter to resilience, profitability, investor confidence, and the value of the company? Let's use a simple example. Imagine a specialist engineering supplier. It has grown quickly because one major manufacturer keeps sending work. That customer now represents 42% of revenue, 55% of gross profit, and roughly 70% of one production line. The customer pays, but on 90-day terms. Most of the relationship sits with the founder. There is no long-term volume commitment, just a stream of purchase orders. On the surface, this is a success story. Strong growth, a respected client, and a busy operation. But look again, 42% of sales is obvious. The more important question is this: how much of the business's profit, cash, capacity, and decision-making is pointing in the same direction? This is how dependency develops. Nobody holds a meeting and decides to become vulnerable. A large prospect arrives. The team wins the work. The customer pays on time. The work fills a production line, keeps good people occupied, and gives the sales team an impressive reference. Then the customer asks for more. You recruit, buy equipment, change the schedule, and build systems around the account. And why would you not? The opportunity is real. The relationship is good. The founder knows the buyer trusts the founder, and another referral may be waiting. 10 smaller opportunities begin to feel like hard work beside one large, familiar account. That is where convenience quietly becomes concentration. Specialization can create the same effect. A business becomes excellent in one sector, then a sector slowdown, supply consolidation, or a change of procurement policy affects nearly everyone at once. Sometimes the risk is even narrower. One person owns the relationship, one site carries the work, or one customer's requirements shape the entire operating model. So start with the numbers, but don't stop at revenue. In our engineering example, the account is 42% of sales and 55% of gross profit. That is already a different risk picture. Add 90-day payment terms, and the business may be financing a large part of the customer's operation. Add 70% of one production line, and losing the account does not simply remove income. It leaves a capacity problem behind. That is the number most teams miss. Not revenue concentration, decision concentration. How many of your people, pounds, hours, and management choices are being shaped by one buyer? Then test the commercial protection. Is there a proper contract or only purchase orders? Are volumes committed? What notice period applies? Can the customer terminate for convenience? How quickly could it change supplier? A warm relationship is valuable. A warm relationship without contractual protection is not the same thing as security. Now test the relationship itself. Who knows the decision maker? Who understands procurement? Who knows what the customer is trying to achieve next year, not just what it ordered last month? If the answer is one founder and a mobile phone, the business does not own the relationship as securely as it thinks it does. Finally, ask the uncomfortable question: how easy would it be for the customer to replace you? Not how inconvenient would it be for them. How difficult would it actually be? Do you provide specialist capability, embedded knowledge, or a distinctive outcome? Or are you mainly convenient, available, and competitively priced? That answer changes everything. 40% of revenue can be acceptable when the account is deeply integrated, well protected, properly profitable, and covered by several relationships. 20% can be dangerous when the margin is weak, the contract is fragile, and one person is carrying the whole relationship. There is no magic threshold. There is only an exposure you understand, or one you have chosen not to see. Why do leaders miss it? The numbers look good, the customer is happy, the team is busy, and nobody wants to be the person who says, this success might be fragile. Previous loyalty gets treated as future certainty. A difficult negotiation is called temporary. A drop in orders is called timing. But loyalty is not a strategy, and a good relationship is not a forecast. Dependency also changes your behavior. You accept a price reduction you would reject elsewhere. You prioritize an urgent request over a more profitable opportunity. You delay investment because the account must be protected. The customer does not even need to threaten you. You start negotiating against yourself. Time kills deals, and dependency kills negotiating power even more quietly. What should you do? First, protect the account, not abandon it. Build a proper account plan. Understand the customer's objectives, pressures, buying process, and future needs. Create senior level contact on both sides. Make sure the service team includes more than one heroic individual. Ask directly, what would make this relationship more valuable and what might cause a review? In the engineering example, that could mean the founder introduces the operations director and finance lead to their equivalents at the customer. It could mean agreeing a rolling forecast, clarifying service expectations, and exploring a longer-term commercial arrangement. None of that guarantees the account. It does make the relationship more visible, more useful, and less dependent on one conversation. Second, document what the business has learned. Terms, renewal dates, pricing history, key contacts, service issues, and relationship intelligence should be available to the team. If the account knowledge lives in someone's head, it is not an asset yet. It's a dependency. Third, give the risk an owner. Not somebody who produces a percentage once a quarter, but an executive who challenges comfortable assumptions and watches for movement. Put customer concentration in the same leadership conversation as revenue, margin, cash, and pipeline. Show revenue share, gross profit share, overdue cash, capacity, contract runway, relationship coverage, and qualified opportunities outside the account. Then decide your own warning points. At what level would losing the account threaten payroll? At what level would it restrict investment? At what level would an investor expect a valuation discount? Set an early warning point, an action point, and a crisis point. Risk becomes something you manage rather than something you discover in an email. Fourth, diversify deliberately. Not with a panic message to the sales team saying, find anyone who will buy. Absolutely not. Choose adjacent customer groups where your capability, reputation, and evidence already give you an advantage. Define the proposition. Build a target list. Set milestones for conversations, proposals, wins, and gross profit. Give the plan an owner and a time horizon. For our engineering supplier, that might mean targeting 2 similar manufacturers with different ownership and buying cycles. The goal is not to replace the major customer overnight. It might be 2 new accounts contributing 8% each, while the existing relationship remains well served. That is measured progress. It reduces dependence without destroying the core. And watch capacity. If the main account already consumes every available hour, careless diversification creates a service failure for everyone. You may need better scheduling, careful recruitment, a separate delivery path, or selective outsourcing. Just get it done, but get the right thing done in the right order. Why does this matter? Resilience first. Multiple credible customers give you room to absorb a setback and keep investing. Profitability next. Concentration often hides discounts, bespoke processes, excess working capital, and management time that never appears in the account margin. And value? Buyers and investors care about how repeatable and defensible your earnings are, not just what last year's accounts report. Most importantly, concentration affects leadership freedom. A strong business can choose where to invest, which customers to serve, and which terms to accept. If one account dictates all 3, the business may be growing in size while shrinking in strategic freedom. So this week, complete a 1-page concentration review. Write down your largest customer's share of revenue, gross profit, cash exposure, and capacity. Add the contract position, relationship depth, and replaceability. Then mark the account clearly. Asset, vulnerability, or both. Choose one action to protect the relationship and one focused action to reduce dependence. If you find something uncomfortable, share the lesson, not confidential customer details, on social media and tag the show. Tell other leaders what measure changed your view of the risk. Follow Why Businesses Stop Growing and share this episode with an owner, CEO, investor, or senior leader who needs to look beyond the headline revenue number. Thanks for listening to Why Businesses Stop Growing. If this episode made you think differently about your business, follow the show and share it with another leader who will find it valuable. Until next time, understand thoroughly, assess independently, and recommend clearly. Until next time, keep asking why.